Okay, we have a map. What? Oh no, my telltales.
Zag je zeilen?
Yes, for the English people, we're gonna sail today.
Yes.
And there is about 10 knots of wind, so not a lot of wind, but it's gonna be quite nice. And today we're sailing with Gijs.
Yoo-hoo! It's my first time with Jan Willem on the Wind Roses, toch? Hè?
Yep, it
on
is.
the Wind Rose.
So there we go. Hey, welcome back, guys. Another episode of Sailing Wind Rose. I'm Jan. If you don't know me yet, I'm a guy that wants to go sailing with his family in 2024, so quite a few years to go. And we're taking you along in our preparations and everything we need to do. Let's start with looking at the route for the first sail with my buddy Gijs. And let's look at the weather a bit. So on the right side you see Pampas. And the yellow line marks our track. So a rondje Pampas it is. And that was good with the weather that we had. So let's point out the Netherlands. There you have it. The low pressure areas trying to move from left to right, and the high pressure areas trying to prevent it. And then there are some fronts that are closing in. If we animate, you see that the fronts are running over the Netherlands and actually passing us. So there was some wind. 2, 1, 2 with some rain. Onze schipper hier.
Ahoy!
Hoi, en daar gaan we. Oh.
Rust.
Rust.
Kijk. Wacht je?
So as we were planning lunch and rain was coming, we decided to anchor behind Pampas and have lunch there. We are
Having dinner or lunch.
for Pampas.
That's Pampas. You see Pampas? Pampas.
It's the first time in my life that I'm anchored here.
And for mij also. It's a special moment.
Salut.
Ciao, ciao. I'm sailing very well. 5.6 knots. Knots? Is een knopen nat? Oké, ja! Ha!
Doing 5.9 knots through water. I think over ground it will be around 5-ish, a bit less. And that's basically always the case. There's not a lot of current in the Markermeer and the IJmeer, but yeah, you don't make the same speed over ground as you do through water. Interesting detail here as well. This is a center board and the board wasn't fully down. But still, I think at the angle, close holing, we were doing decent speed. 6 knots with this boat is good. And if you trim it really well, it goes faster, but we will see that later. So that was already the end of the sail with Gijs. I hadn't seen him for a long time, so it was good to catch up again. On the boat you have always plenty of time to talk about things while doing the work of boating, because it doesn't go by itself. It's not a motor boat. You need to actively sail the boat. Next sail would be the sail with Joost. And Joost is actually a guy that takes it really easy. He helped me out quite a bit with the old boat. We went for a couple of sails together. We visited Volendam quite often. And today we would have weather that we have more often. So let's have a look at the weather. Starting with the Bracknell chart from the Met Office, pointing out the Netherlands to you and pointing out the lows and the highs. And then the wind resulting from that, turning right clock around the high, resulting in not a lot of wind. and if you look at the animation you actually see not a lot happens at all, which resulted in not a lot of wind and actually dying while we were there. So this sail will have been around November, and it actually got quite cold this year. So we prepared and we brought a nice bottle of hot ginger tea. Lovely. So there was plenty wind to actually see if we could get a bit more speed from the boat at that particular point. And we wanted to use the Zeilen trim card. So you see it here. It's a card that we got. It's like all plasticky. And it's from a magazine, Zeilen. And it's really good because it tells you what to do with all your telltales. So you can just look at the telltales and then based on that see how the boat is doing. So we would want to give it a try. Okay, we have a map. What? Oh no, my telltales. So just in case that was a little bit too quick, basically the crane line was basically on the telltales. So we had to get that off, and by the time we had it off, the wind died on us completely. Had a bit of wind, but currently we don't have any wind at all. So we're just floating around. Quite interesting. But the good thing is because I stopped drinking coffee. Yep, not drinking any coffee anymore. Actually also because of sailing and because I had an anxious feeling a lot of the time. I used to drink about 5 or 6 of these cups with filter coffee every day, and I loved it for years on end. But at a certain point in time I thought, you know, why don't I try to stop drinking coffee? And let me show you what happened. It was actually quite interesting. So today is just another Sunday, and on Sunday we always do groceries. And the interesting thing is that we're experimenting with our health. If you want to travel the world and you want to find peace and tranquility, then it's also important to find this within yourself. So today we're going to do shopping, and we already stopped drinking alcohol. Today we're going to stop drinking coffee and see what happens to the body and the mind. Quite interesting. Go! And sometimes you're lucky. Just for the record, the beer you are seeing is Heineken 0.0 and the coffee was from Zon Natura. Okay, today we decided to stop drinking coffee.
Nee, niet we, you.
Oh, I decided to stop drinking coffee to see what happens with my body. And we bought meer granen coffee. It actually looks quite a lot like coffee. So I'm curious how it tastes. Let's see. It smells kind of burnt and it tastes like nothing. interesting. Sort of tastes like coffee. Maybe I should make it a bit stronger. So now the biggest problem with not drinking coffee is actually not as much when you are off, but it's more like if you're on your work. Because there it was really like a habit. I have meetings all day and I drink coffee all day. I drank coffee all day. I still drink coffee, but it's now without caffeine. So we clearly have to wait and see how long this placebo effect takes, but it actually helps. I feel quite awake, which is which is hilarious. That's so funny. Okay, I'm gonna go back to work. My coffee break is over, so let's do some work. Let's get to action. Yes. I felt really horrible yesterday. Not good at all. A lot of muscle pain, a headache, grumpy, not in the mood to make a video, so I skipped it. Now I can reflect on it. This night I had a bit of a lousy night. I took quite some aspirins, I think 2 or 3 during the day and 1 before I went to bed, but didn't help. So in the middle of the night I just accepted the pain as it was. That kind of helped. Not really, but it kind of helped. So that was good. Today I feel better. Sun shining, that's also helping. But all in all, like, quite impressed with what coffee does to my body. It's like, wow, man. If you stop this stuff, then you really get afkikverschijnselen, as we say in Dutch. So detoxing and yeah. Steady we go. Keep you posted and I'll talk to you tomorrow. So it's day 3. Tonight I couldn't sleep. Last night I couldn't sleep because of the muscle pain. So I woke up at 4, read a book, and then thought, you know what, let's go biking. Stop drinking coffee, and this is your reward. It's like absolutely brilliant. So after the 4th day, I kind of stopped making videos. I think you get the drill as well. I stood my ground. And in the end, I don't drink any coffee anymore now, and it makes me feel really good. A lot less excited, like anxious. So that's super, which I also think helps me when I go sailing. Better balance of my energy during the day, so that's good. And that actually, my first experience without coffee on the boat was right there, right then, when we quit it. So let's go back to where we were at the boat. I actually feel pretty relaxed, as I might look, but it makes me feel really good. So it's a good day, even though there is no wind. Lovely. So this card, couldn't use it, maybe another day. But I did saw all of a sudden the whisker pole, and that I had never ever used. So I was like, let's bring it on. So we have the, as we say in Dutch, fokkenschoot, going all the way there, but the sail is actually there. So I don't think this is how they thought it should work. So I'm still a bit like, I'm not sure how that is supposed to work. I'll look it up in one of my sail books, but if you have a comment, leave it below and I'd love to read it. So if you know how to use this whisker pole, or if you think it's not too long, because it was like really, I had like 1.5 meters till the end of the Genoa, then yeah, let me know, and fun to read. So let's continue and go back to the speed that we were making through the water. At least there is depth. Not a lot of speed, not a lot of wind. But as always with wind here, in the end there's always a little bit of wind. And in this case we got a bit of sea breeze, as we call it. So the land heats up and there is a natural wind coming from the North Sea that we always get a bit of on our end. So we could pick that up and sail back home again. So not a lot of destination, not a lot of speed, not a lot of wind, but a lot of sailing. And that was good. Peaceful sailing. So there you have it. Another episode of Sailing Wind Rose, and sailing with men this time. Next episode is about sailing with women. Quite different, I can tell you, but also a lot of fun. So hope to put that video out in 2 weeks. And for now, if you've liked this one, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't like it, give it a thumbs down. And if you have any comments, any tips, any questions, feel free to put them in the chat and I will answer in the comments, sorry. And I will answer when I can. So loved it. Thank you very much for watching, and hope to see you next episode on Sailing Wind Rose.